everybody. How you doing? My name is Mickey, and this is Mickey in the Middle, the quintessential show for Middle Americans, where all Middle Americans are welcome. It doesn't matter where you've been, where you go. It just matters that you're here right now. Just want to let you know that tonight is going to be. I don't know what people are going to think about tonight, and frankly, this is America. I have constitutional guaranteed right to be able to have my opinion and be able to stay that. And some people are going to like it, some people are not going to like it. But at this point, here's what the deal is: we either have to defend free speech or we are lost. So, without further ado, uh, we are going to go and start the show the way that we normally do, and then we're going to go ahead and get right into this. And the name of the show is Political Violence and Free Speech. So we're going to be talking about that here in just a second. All right. So, as always, we start off with the Constitution because this is what makes America great right here. We, the people. Look, we're all in this together. We're all in this together. We're going to have disagreements, but we are all in this together. Current population of the world is 8,246,000,000,000 people in the United States of America. Behind India, China is the United States, 347 million people right there. Can you believe that? There's almost 350 million people in the United States of America, and our national debt is $37 trillion. So let's go ahead and do this. So I delayed my show for 24 hours, and you have to ask yourself, why would Mickey delay the show for 24 hours? Well, simple fact of the matter is I was living my best American dream out there in the United States of America. Last weekend, I headed to Oklahoma to play in the senior games. I played golf in the Oklahoma senior games. I am proud to say that I won first place in a very, very small group, but I still won first place. I was proud of my second half of my round, but I was living my best dream, living my retired life. And then I left there, and then I went to Fayetteville to hang out with my daughter and my son-in-law, and that was going great. And while we were there last night, I was like, holy smokes, look at what has happened to Charlie Kirk. There's been a shooting in Colorado. The political rhetoric just went off scale on kind of like on both sides. And that's what kind of got my attention. I couldn't wrap my hands around it fast enough to be able to determine what was going on in the political sphere that would lead us to this point. So, looks like my camera is hanging up. Doggone it. Come on, man. Hold on. All right, so there we are. Looks like we're back. So, the internet's letting me down. I'm getting a new internet provider, so we'll do there. So the political sphere went crazy. And what I read was absolutely horrible. It was absolutely horrible. Charlie Kirk is doing a free speech debate type thing that he does. Now, I'm not intimately familiar with Charlie Kirk. I have watched his stuff in the past, but I find it boring and repetitive, so I didn't do that because he has got the things that he is. He is staunchly conservative and a Christian. So, although I have seen his things, I am not intimately familiar with Charlie Kirk, but I know what his stick is. So, Charlie Kirk's stick is, hey, look here, I am a staunch Christian conservative. I am going to sit here and defend my values. And if you disagree with me, I would like you to step up first to the microphone so you can tell me your point of view in a respectful manner, and then I can respond to what you have said in a respectful manner. I've never seen him be a jerk now, I've never seen him be blatantly disrespectful in the way that he treats somebody else. It's ma'am, it's sir, it is these are my points of view. I understand what you're saying is this. If I don't understand what you're saying, can you please clarify that? And then he gives his point of view. And that's the whole idea of his show is they're going to end up on what Charlie Kirk says last because he is the star of the show. That's his thing. He's been doing this for years and years and years. He started a political organization on college campuses many, many years ago, probably 10 or 12 years ago. I'm not really sure how long it was, called Turning Point. And the idea was he believed that colleges throughout the United States, colleges and university, have been turned to the liberal, progressive side of things. And he wanted to be able to have an opposing view on campus. Now, this organization has grown to thousands of chapters across the United States of America. Each chapter has a president, they have national conventions, they have big conventions where conservatives all show up and they go to these conventions. And the star of the show is Charlie Kirk and people like Donald Trump and Candace Owens and whoever else would be on the right hand side, Marco Rubio, a lot of people. That's why the conservative side is taking this so hard, is because they believe that Charlie Kirk started a movement for the conservative Christian base that has spread throughout the country and that kind of made him a rock star. So, in conservative circles, to have one of your rock stars killed is a pretty traumatic event. Here's what the thing is: inside of the structure of Charlie Kirk's show, they always show the opposing view. They always let the other person speak. And they always said whatever they wanted to say, whether they wanted to call Charlie Kirk names, whether they wanted to say that the border should be open, or trans people are being negatively affected by what's going on in sports, or by what Trump is doing, or what are some of the other things that I have here? Marriage, border, abortion. He had a bunch of these hot topics. And that's what I'm here to talk about today. I'm here to talk about this because earlier today, when I was coming back from Fayetteville, oh, by the way, I got 6 cute ducks. I got 6 very, very cute ducks in Fayetteville today. I'm going to raise them by hand and then I'm going to backyard so they can live their best duck life. But anyway, when I was coming back, I was flipping between 3 channels on satellite radio, NBC, CNN, and on Fox News. And one of the commentators on Fox News said, although it is an absolute tragic event, I found that Charlie Kirk's positions were abhorrent. And then I started thinking about the word, well, I know about the word abhorrent. So let's do this together. Hey, Siri, define abhorrent. All right. Inspiring disgust and loathing, repugnant. So a Fox News commentator said that she found all of his positions abhorrent, inspiring disgust, loathing, and repugnant. Now, on CNN, they were, on the time that I listened, they were a little bit more respectful than that. But the thing was that everybody said that Charlie Kirk's position were this, but, and they always threw that conjunction in there, but, or however, and that's what the problem is. Because I looked at X yesterday and I looked at Facebook yesterday, and the number of things that were absolutely horrible about the incident was without humanity. There was no humanity in there. Because there was no humanity in there, that means that all of the people that said that means that they're inhumane. That a human being was killed. And they were like, well, he deserved it. He's a piece of shit. Yeah, I find him disgusting. He is the worst thing. He is vile. He is evil. And all I could think was, where have we gone? Where have we gone? Because when I write down this, I'm about to go to Charlie Kirk's positions as I understand them. I'm also going to go through the positions on the other side, because none of the positions are abhorrent. They're a difference in political and cultural, they're political and cultural differences. They're not vile. They're not hateful. They are a political discussion. Let's start off with abortion. For thousands and thousands of years, people have been having sex, and some of them have chosen, some people have decided to get rid of the baby, right? Mothers do bad things, and they take care of the situation. Before the pill came along, before abortions came along, this has happened throughout history. Men, in order to avoid this situation, have killed women and babies in the womb in order to make that happen. So this is a political discussion that has been going on through all time. Everybody knows that certain segments of the society believe that abortion is wrong. Other people in society believe that abortion should be allowed. So, where would we be without political discourse about abortion as a culture? Because we are made up of political discussions that result in, hey, how do we do this? Now, Europe has come up with a definition that, hey, prior to 6 weeks, Europe has found that prior to 6 weeks, abortion should be allowed, but after 6 weeks, it should not be allowed. It's either 6 or 8 weeks. It doesn't really matter. They came up with a number. Why? Because they had a political discussion on the thing. But the problem is that that's a political discussion. And if you look at the person on the other side of the issue as evil and hateful and not worthy of living because they have an opinion on it, then all of a sudden that's gone wrong. So what we're saying is you're because you oppose my political opinion on something that needs to be discussed culturally, I'm now your enemy. That doesn't make sense. How about how about marriage? What about marriage? Right? Is it supposed to be between a man and a woman, or is it supposed to be between anybody that wants to get married? Is that a civil discussion? Is it a religious discussion? Well, Charlie Kirk was on one side. He was like, hey, marriage is between a man and a woman. But the other side of the aisle says, hey, why does this have to be a religious discussion? How about if we take religion out of it and let anybody get married that they want? And the Supreme Court ended up deciding that. Why? Because culturally, 50 years ago, that would not have been allowed. But culturally, we have matured to the point where gay marriage is now allowed in the United States of America. And anybody can get married to anybody else and get all of the benefits that go along with being married. And most states have accepted that. The border. Charlie Kirk's not being hateful when he says, hey, look here, we need to close the border. We need to send everybody home. That's a political opinion. That doesn't mean that he needs to be summarily executed. It doesn't mean it. It just means that, hey, he believes what's best for our country is to close the border and close the border and not have people come in. It's not that he hates illegals. He just wants people to come in legally so that when they're here legal, and I know all these positions because I've heard him speak on this subject several times, is, hey, if you come in legally, we're going to welcome you with open arms. But he had plenty of reasons to close the border because of drugs, because of sex trafficking, because of the number of illegal things that were happening inside of the trade, what it does to our economy, what it does to our social structure. It doesn't make him an enemy. It doesn't make him an enemy. And it doesn't make other people an enemy either. Just because they disagree with Charlie Kirk does not make them the enemy of conservatives. And if you're one of those people that are like, ha ha ha, he got what he deserved, that makes you a bad person. I'm telling you right now, I got to go through my friends list and I've got to drop people because they said, quote unquote, if you don't like what I said about Charlie Kirk dying, you can unfriend me. So I'm going to do them the courtesy of unfriending him. But that puts me in a precarious position because I'm Mickey in the middle. I want to hear what they got to say, but not if they're bad people. And that's what the problem here is if we cut off political discourse and we stop discussing things, and if people go, hey, if you don't like it, get bent, unfriend me, I'll go find my own other friends. That means that they are being intolerant, that they are being the people that have a willingness to cut off the other side, or the option is you have to put up with me being vile and hateful and distasteful. A lot of people, well, I was just joking. If you don't like it, you can get bent. You know how I am. That's horrible. Why would you want to be seen that way? You wouldn't do that in Walmart. You wouldn't do it at a gas station. You definitely wouldn't do it at church. You wouldn't do it in mixed company. But you get online and all of a sudden you have free reign to do whatever you want. And that's what the problem is. See, in Europe, the overreaction to this means that now they have the hate speech police. And it's in Europe, and it's in England, and it's in France, and it's in Spain, it's in Portugal, it's in Germany. It's all over the world. Now they have departments of people that get to determine whether your speech is lawful or hateful. Here's the thing about hateful speech, that's in the eye of the beholder. The analogy I can come up with is dog haters and dog lovers and cat haters and cat lovers. Now they're on opposite sides of the spectrum. Some people like both. Like I'm a dog and a cat person. So I understand both points of view, but there's a lot of people that say I hate cats and everybody that has anything to do with them, and I hate dogs that have anything to do with them. But if you of taking that to Europe and in Germany and France and Spain and in Portugal and in Lisbon countries, when you say I hate cat people are in charge, I view that as hate speech to arrest you for spewing propaganda and hate speech. On the alternative, if you say that I hate dogs, then if the dog people are in charge, they would go, oh man, that's bad. But if the dog people or the cat people are in charge, they'd be like, yeah, that's good stuff. So you don't ever want the government to be controlling your free speech. And that's what's going to happen here because everybody went off the top. Everybody said a bunch of stuff that some people meant, and those people are bad people. Nobody should celebrate the death of another human being for having a political opinion or cultural opinion that's different than yours. Is it an existential threat? No. An existential threat is a huge threat to life and limb. That means it's imminent, and that means it's to say that you don't want trans people in the locker room or the bathrooms of the opposite sex has been a stance and a position that people have had for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. It's etched into history. And to say that if you disagree with trans people being in the bathrooms or the locker rooms or the private spaces of a different gender is hate speech, then you're denying the reality that the people hold that political view and other people hold your view. But it doesn't make them the enemy and it doesn't make them hateful. It just says that they have a different point of view on this. It's almost one of the most frustrating points of my life is the simple fact that we're going hard on a side. And when you're picking your team, this is not like picking a team in the NFL or in the SEC or in the Pac 10 or whatever the heck else, whatever anybody else would be. Right? So if you're an Arkansas fan, do you really hate LSU fans? Or can you have beers with them in the stand and just go, oh, well, that was a good game. Get you next year. That's what the crux of the matter is. I always go back to the analogy that Barack Obama said that if Congress will not act, he has a pen and a will, and he will make executive orders. And then when Donald Trump came in, Donald Trump got rid of a lot of those executive orders. And then when Joe Biden came in, Joe Biden got rid of Donald Trump's executive orders. Oh no, we're stuck again. Come on, man. We're stuck. I'm so sorry about this. I'm so sorry about this. Let me get rid of that. Let me see if that helps. I'm going to try to get rid of some stuff. So I'm sorry. I think I might have too much stuff open. Here is the best thing that I can possibly say about this. It is a tragedy that we've come to the point in the United States of America where we believe that we can side, that we have the ability to side with a bunch of people. Sorry, I'm trying to close up a bunch of stuff here. See if I can get a better signal. It is absolutely sad that we are trying to side and defend or overreact to somebody being killed. That's what we're doing. I wish that we could just say, hey, look here, this is a tragic event. I pray for the shooter. I pray for the victims. I pray that this never happens again. And be able to lower the vitriol of our speech to the point where we can have discussions about things without getting overly emotional. And in the 7 habits of highly effective people, the Covey Institute teaches seek first to understand and then seek to be understood. Charlie Kirk had positions that he had for a reason. It wasn't that he was trying to be vile or hateful. Maybe he was. I don't know. I don't know him. I don't know him, right? Uh, but I don't think that was the intent of his heart. I think that he was just trying to say the truth as and the cultural understanding that he had. And as a result of that, somebody took that as something more or less to the point where somebody had to kill him. Now, I don't know whether it was political. It might have been personal, but I would bet the house that it is personal. Yes, there was a school shooting yesterday as well in Colorado. There's also another one at the Annapolis Naval Academy right now too. Thank you very much, Jackie. I appreciate that. We cannot forget them. Uh, Thank you very much for the reminder. For all of the school shootings, for all of the victims, for all of the people that think that they needed to take it to the level that they did, I'm going to pray for them all. I pray for healing in our country, that everybody can have empathy and everybody can try to understand the position of the other side so that we can come up with applicable laws that are sensitive to all parties, with the understanding that somebody in politics is going to make a decision and they are going to pass laws that negatively affect some people. So if they raise your taxes, they're going to be negatively affecting you. If they say that roads are closing or schools are closing or that a policy is going to be implemented, it's going to affect one group or another 100% of the time, because that's the effect of the laws in our country. If we can't discuss the key facts and the key reasons behind all of the decisions that are being made and try to address all of them collectively, then we have no chance. But I'm praying for the United States of America because I believe that we can turn around. And I do believe that it's not the end of the world. And although Charlie Kirk has passed away, and although many other people have passed away, like, you know, let's put it this way. Donald Trump said that they're going to fly the flag at half mast for Charlie Kirk. The first thing I thought was, no, we shouldn't do that. We should not lower because he was a political activist and he is promoting one side of an argument. And then I understood that the flags were flown at half mast for Martin Luther King. And anytime the president or governor wants to fly a flag at half mast, we should honor those wishes because it doesn't have to be a political figure that dies. It just has to have an impact. Today's 9/11. What happened in 2001 on 9/11 affected us all greatly. And it politically motivated an entire generation to take action and to get involved politically. A lot of people joined the military. but we flew flags at half mast for the people that died during 9/11. That still affects us to this day. Pearl Harbor still affects us to this day. D-Day still affects us to this day. We need to be able to remember days like yesterday, days like 9/11, days like Pearl Harbor, days like D-Day, because they literally affect the culture of our nation. And we need to take responsibility and understand that all of those events shape how we should have political discourse today. Because if D-Day didn't happen, we would not be here in the country we are today. If 9/11 didn't happen, we would be different. If Charlie Kirk and Martin Luther King are not remembered, then we are also doomed to repeat that. And we should do better. So I'm asking you to look around and maybe change the way that you do things to see the points of view on the other side and understand that the other side is just like you. They have a political opinion about politics in our culture, and their political opinions about politics and culture may be different than yours. But I guarantee that most of the things that they think is right on with you. They want to be able to raise a family in a safe city, in a safe neighborhood. They want to be able to worship the way that they want to or not worship the way that they want to. They want to be able to defend themselves and their families. They want to be able to not be prosecuted by the government and not have bail set too high or have excessive punishment for what they have done. They want to be able to not have the government go through our paperwork. They want to have the ability for free speech, the freedom to assemble. They want to have the ability to say whatever they want to be able to say and be able to run for political office without the prosecutions or persecutions that's going on today. This is not about hate. We need to turn this into, what is this about? This is about love. It's about love of God, family, country, and what we can do as individuals to maybe change the discourse in our country to be a little more empathetic and a little more sympathetic so that we can come up with good rules for our politics and good rules as a culture to make sure that everybody can succeed and live their best life. So that's the message from Mickey in the Middle. Let's take this tragedy and let's learn from it. Let's pray for the victims in Colorado yesterday, the victims at Annapolis today. Pray for Charlie Kirk and the people or person that was responsible for that. Let's hold them accountable because justice must be served. And let's not go crazy in the future, but let's try to get together so that we can all work together to make our country and our society better. So I love you and I want you to have a great night. Remember, Mickey in the Middle every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central, most Wednesday nights. You guys have a great one. We can do this, and I will see you next week. Talk to you later.